No one sat beside her until the human pilot did without a word. Beginning. The canteen of Outpost Nadir was always loud. It was a place where mercenaries, freighter crews, traders, and smugglers gathered after long hauls through the jagged lanes of the Outer Rim. The air was heavy with the scent of engine grease and spiced nebula ale. Alien voices overlapped in 100 different tones, a chorus of noise that made the steel walls reverberate. And yet, in that cacophony, there was a quiet island, near the farthest wall. Under the flickering glow of an old plasma lamp, a single figure sat alone at a long bench table. She was tall, armored and dull, battered plates that had once been ceremonial but were now scarred and scorched. The armor bore markings in silver and deep violet, the glyphs of the Tsari Dominion, an empire that had fallen 10 years ago. Her name was Valara. Everyone knew her, or rather, they knew what she was. A war orphan, a relic of a defeated empire, a survivor of a war that burned half the sector and left the Tsari scattered and despised. She sat there every evening, eating slowly, saying nothing, her golden eyes fixed on nothing in particular. And every evening, the long bench beside her remained empty. No one dared to sit there. No one wanted to be seen near her. The Tsari had been warriors, bred for conquest. To share a table with one was, to many, a reminder of blood debts still unpaid. The chatter of the canteen always dipped when Valara entered, only to resume once she sat down. She had learned to ignore it. She carried her tray, ate and left, always alone, until the night a human pilot broke the unspoken rule. He walked in wearing a patched flight jacket, flight wings embroidered on the chest, his hair messy as though he had just pulled off his helmet. His boots clattered against the steel floor. He grabbed a tray of steaming protein stew and, without hesitation, crossed the room. The chatter dimmed as dozens of eyes followed him. Valara looked up, already expecting him to veer away. He didn't. He slid onto the bench beside her, set his tray down, and started eating. He didn't look at her. He didn't speak. He just sat there, beside her. For the first time in years, Valara's fork froze halfway to her mouth. Middle. The human's name was Kale Dern. She would learn that later. At first, he offered her nothing more than silence. Night after night, he returned to the same table, carrying whatever food he had grabbed from the canteen line. He would sit, eat, and leave. No introductions. No questions. No cautious glances. The others watched. Whisper spread. That pilot's lost his mind. Doesn't he know what she is? Maybe he doesn't care. Humans don't remember the Tsari war the way we do. And perhaps that was true. Humans had been allies to neither side. They were latecomers to the interstellar scene. Independent, stubborn, scattered. They flew their own ships, took their own jobs, and rarely bowed to anyone. After the fifth night, Valara finally broke the silence. "You know what I am," she said quietly, her voice low enough not to carry. Kale didn't pause from his stew. "You're someone eating dinner." Her golden eyes narrowed. "You mock me?" "No." He scooped another spoonful. "Just stating the obvious." For the first time in years, she felt something prick beneath her armor of indifference. Not anger, something else. Confusion. The next night, she tried again. "Others avoid me. Why don't you?" Kale shrugged, as though the question hardly mattered. "I sit where I like." That was all he said. But slowly, over weeks, words began to grow between them like small sparks in the dark. Valara told him fragments of her story. How she had once been an honor guard to the Dominion's High Blade. How she had watched her world burn under orbital fire. How she had escaped the wreckage with nothing but a blade that now lay broken, hidden in her quarters. Kale told her the void. He spoke of his ship, the Marlin's Wing, a beat-up freighter with wings like fins. He spoke of jobs hauling plasma coils through pirate territory, of near misses in asteroid fields, of sitting alone in cockpits for days with only the hum of the drive for company. "You're a drifter," she said one evening. "Guess so. And yet you sit here. Always here." "Guess so," he said again with a faint smile. The unspoken truth was there. Two exiles, one by war, one by choice, finding the same empty table. But the galaxy does not allow peace to linger. One night, alarms shrieked across Outpost Nadir. Sirens painted the corridors in red. Mercenaries scrambled to grab weapons. Screens blared warnings. Pirate raid inbound. Violara and Kale ran for the docks. The station shook as impacts rattled its hull. Through the blast doors they saw ships descending. Sleek raiders with skull-marked hulls. The Blood Fawn clan. Kale sprinted toward his freighter. Get inside. But Violara stopped at the weapons rack, her armored hand gripping a plasma pike. She turned, golden eyes blazing. I will fight. You'll die out here. Kale snapped, powering up his ship. Get in. She hesitated, only a heartbeat. Then she leapt into the freighter's hold. The Marlin's wing roared out of the docking bay, weaving between pirate ships. Kale's hands flew over the controls, the freighter twisting like a dancer in the void. Violara strapped herself in the gunner's seat, her reflexes sharp as if war had never left her veins. Turrets lit the black. Pirate hulls cracked under her fire. Kale threaded them through debris fields with impossible daring. Together, pilot and warrior moved as if they had flown together for years. For the first time, Violara felt the old fire in her chest, the fire of battle, not for conquest, not for empire, but for survival beside someone who did not flinch from her. When the pirates finally broke off, leaving wreckage scattered in the void, the Marlin's wing limped back to the station. Smoke trailed from her engines, but she was alive. Inside the cockpit, silence hung heavy. Then Kale leaned back, breathless, and glanced at her. Not bad, he said. Violara, still gripping the gunner's controls, allowed herself the smallest of smiles. Ending. After the raid, everything changed. No one looked at Violara the same way in the canteen. Whispers became nods of respect. Even those who had once scorned her now spoke of the way she had manned the turrets, cutting through pirate ships with precision. But Violara hardly noticed them anymore. Her gaze often drifted toward the corner of the hangar where the Marlin's wing rested, Kale working with grease-stained hands on its battered engines. One night, she brought something with her to the hangar, a long case wrapped in black cloth. Kale glanced up. What's that? She knelt, unwrapping it. Inside lay the broken blade of her people. Once a shining symbol of the Dominion, now split down the middle. This was mine, she said quietly. I kept it through fire and exile. But it is useless now. Broken. Kale studied it for a long moment. Then he smirked faintly. Maybe not useless. Give me a few days. And he meant it. Kale worked with patience, scavenging alloys from old starship plating, reforging the fragments with human tech. Sparks flew in the hangar, the sound of welding echoing through the steel walls. Violara watched silently, her heart heavier than she admitted. When at last he presented it to her, the blade gleamed again, reborn, reforged, its sorry glyphs etched alongside human engravings of flight wings. She held it, and for the first time in years, she felt whole. Why? She asked softly. Why do this for me? Kale wiped grease from his hands and shrugged. No one should carry their past alone. She looked at him for a long time. For once, words failed her. Weeks passed. Violara became a fixture not just of the canteen, but of the Marlin's wing. She took the co-pilot seat, her blade resting by her side, her armor repaired and ready. Jobs came, escorting convoys, outrunning smugglers, charting nebula lanes. Together, they carved a small legend in the outer rim, the human pilot and the Tsari warrior. One evening, as the stars stretched into lines and the freighter jumped to hyperspace, Kale leaned back and glanced at her. You know, he said, when I sat beside you that first night, I wasn't sure if you'd stab me or ignore me. Violara's lips curved, the faintest echo of a smile. I considered both. And now, she looked out at the streaking stars, her golden eyes softer than he had ever seen. Now, I think perhaps you saved me. Kale chuckled. Funny, I was thinking the same. And for the first time in a decade, Valar no longer felt the weight of an empty bench or the silence of exile. She had a place. She had a ship. She had someone who sat beside her, without a word, but with everything that mattered.